Hi, I'm a stake indexing director, and I'm going to be showing you today how to index the U.S. Massachusetts Plymouth County Probate Index project in FamilySearch Indexing. So the first thing that you need to do, of course, is make sure that you have a batch of this project downloaded. I have several here, you just need one. If you don't have one downloaded yet, you would go here, Download Batch, and click on that and select it from the list of available projects. If the project is not available, you can check back later, or you can choose another project to index. Hopefully the things that I show you in this presentation will also be useful for other projects as well. So if you have one downloaded, either it will open up right away, or you can go to Work on Batch to open it up manually. And here we have the image. So the first thing that you would need to do in any project, especially if you're new to it, read through the project instructions, which is over here in the lower right. And I'm not going to read through all of these with you right now. It takes a little time. But you would also, even if you're familiar with the project, you would go click here for a summary of project updates. That will take you to your browser. Here I have the updates page already opened for this project. There it is. Okay, and so here they have some special instructions for certain cases on this project, which you would need to read through. And what's really nice for this one is they've also made a PDF presentation with some examples of how to index the project, and I have that one here. So here again, you would need to read through all of these examples. Make sure that you understand them before you actually begin indexing the project. So I won't go through these with you right now, but hopefully we'll see some of these special cases on the image that we have downloaded. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do then is to check the image type, whether it's normal. This is in fact normal. This is an image that belongs to the project and it's readable. So we go ahead and click on normal for that. Then we go to the entry section, the entry tab. You can either use table entry or form entry. It doesn't matter. Whatever you enter in one field, in one tab, will automatically carry over to the other. So for example, if we look at the first entry here, the year is 1930, so I'll just go ahead and type 1930. And you see that if we go to the form entry, it already entered 1930 for me. So you only need to enter it once, and I prefer the table entry tab, so we're going to stick with this one. Okay, now this project, this image has a lot of lines, and you want to make sure that your eye doesn't skip any of the entries as you're going. So you can use the ruler here under View, Show Ruler, and you get this blue line, and then you can set that. And then you're going to need to move that down every time you want to move on to a new entry. You need to do that manually with your mouse. So we'll use that for the first few entries anyway. Okay, so this is actually a pretty straightforward project. You just go ahead and enter in the information in the order that it is on the page there. 1930 we already have. Surname is Morse. Given name Ansel. Okay, case number. Now we skip this other information here. We go over to case number, 1954. Docket volume number, that's this one here, volume 2. And the next column, docket page number 252. And you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm tabbing. I'm hitting the tab key to get from one field to the next down here in the data entry area. Okay, so I'm going to hit tab again. That'll take us automatically to the next line. Now I need to manually move the blue highlight bar down. We go on. Okay, now we have something a little different. This is a change of name entry, and this is one of the cases that was mentioned in the project instructions that I showed you before. So he's changed his name. His surname was originally Morse, and he's changed it to Sides. So this is how we do that, Morse or Sides. Okay, just one entry for both names. And his given name, Arthur Wallace, to Arthur Wallace, that doesn't change. So we just enter that once. Oops. Wallace. Okay, then we just go on as normal. And in this one you need to be really careful in this project that you're typing all the numbers correctly. I hope I get them all right. If I mess up, hopefully whoever arbitrates this batch will catch it, but try to go slow so we don't mess it up. Okay, so you see actually what I did, instead of moving the ruler, I moved the image. Sometimes that's easier than finding where that ruler is. Okay, so we're on the third line. Now notice the autofill has filled in Morse or sides, and I need to change that because we just want to have Morse. So I'm just going to type in Morse, Augusta H, case number, and next one. Okay, again here we have a change of name, and Morse or Moskowitz. So even though his name originally was Moskowitz, we have to enter the names in the order in which they appear on the image. Morse was first, so we enter Morse first. Morse or Moskowitz, and he didn't change his first name. It stays the same. And, oops, those numbers. Okay, next one. Again, we have to make sure we type in just Morse. So I typed in Morse and then delete for the rest of the autofill entry. There's an unusual name, but the program seems to have recognized it, so that's all right. Okay, now I'm far enough down that I'm actually, so the next one entry is going to be here for this Betsy M. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the ruler, and I'm just going to use this bottom margin of the image here as my ruler. So I know I always just need to check the bottom entry now. Okay, move that up one. Okay, again here we have another change of name, Morse or Nutting. And I didn't mention this before, but notice what's happening is these entries are turned red. That just means that the system doesn't recognize that, because of course normally somebody's last name isn't Morse or Nutting. So we'll just have to confirm that later on in the quality check phase. I'm just going to try to get through these next few entries fairly rapidly. There's nothing special about these. Okay, here on this one we have this little note, et als. We leave that off. That means there were other named individuals in that case, but since they're not named here, we just leave that notation off. The autofill is really great. Saves you a lot of typing, and you do not need to enter. You don't need to use the Shift key, by the way. Charles W. So I haven't used the Shift key at all in that. It automatically makes the first letter of every new name capitalized. Not very exciting. But this is actually a pretty quick project. They're typewritten, they're easy to read for the most part. Okay, now what happens, I've gotten 20 entries. I'm at the end of my data entry field here. There's no more lines, so either I can add a line, a record manually like this. Okay, let's go ahead and enter that one. So here again we have two names here. We'll deal with that in a second. Let me get the first one in. So since these are two different individuals, we can't use the OR option here. We're going to need to add another entry line for John N. So I showed you can either click here, add a record for this image, or so I can see there's quite a few left, and I don't want to have to keep clicking them in one at a time. So I'm at the end of the data entry field here. I'm going to click Tab one more time, and now it actually asks me, and I can add a whole bunch at once. And I could go in and count how many there are. I usually just add 10 at a time, and we'll add 10 more if we need to. We can always take them away at the end, but I find that's quick. So I've just added 10 records. There we are, 10 records added. Okay, now we need to remember to go back and get this John N. So we have the same information, same year, same last name. Now his first name is different, but the case number remains the same, as does the volume number and page number. Okay. And I do want to go through the whole image. I want to get all of these entries in so that you can see what happens at the end. So here we need to be careful. It's a new spelling, a new last name, M-O-R-S-S. Okay, next one too, M-O-R-S-S. Same first name. And then we have to pick up the second entry there for Mary, Mary D, with the same case number and docket numbers. Okay, now we're back to the M-O-R-S-E last name. I see I've run out of data entry lines again. This time I'm just going to add 5 because I know there's not too many more. Hope that will be enough. And on this one, it's a little hard to read what her middle initial is. I'll make that a little bigger. Where is she? So now it's more clear, it's a B. So we'll make her B. And then I'm going to reduce the size again so I can see the whole line at once. Eliza B. Okay, and that's the end. Make sure you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the image. Check there's not a second page somewhere. So that's all. Now we need to get rid of this extra line that I added. You can do that by make sure you're in the correct record. Go up here, delete it. Okay, Now I'm going to click tab one more time, and it's going to take us to the, okay, no more entries, take us to the quality check. And now all it's going to do is make sure that we, first of all, have filled in all the required fields, and then it's going to ask us to double check any of those entries that it had highlighted in red. So Morse or Sides, yes, that's correct. Morse or Moskowitz, make sure the name is spelled correctly. Yes. And Nutting. Okay, and that's it. Submit your work. It'll take a couple seconds to upload, and then it will take you automatically back to your list of batches. You can download a new batch or start working on another one that you already have downloaded. So hope this is helpful to you, and have fun indexing.